Shane, it's lovely to meet you.
Yes, nice to be met.
You were comparatively late coming to cricket. When you were a kid, you were more into AFL and tennis. What prompted the switch?
Them writing me a letter saying you're not good enough.
For AFL?
Yeah, and St Kilda Footy Club, I got a letter saying your services are no longer required at the club. We wish you good luck for the future. And I'm like, that's my dream. I was shattered.
How old were you?
18, turning 19, and I was like, okay, I've been to Moorabbin TAFE and done accounting, and that didn't really grab me. I delivered beds for 40 winks, that didn't really grab me. So doing all that, I thought, I delivered pizzas on a Friday night, so I thought, I've got to be good at something. And I realised that everyone is good at something, you've got to find out what you're good at. I was good at bowling leg spin, and so as you say, I was a late developer, but I worked pretty hard to try and be the best version of myself I could be, and I think I got there.
How much do you think the sting of that rejection from St Kilda has driven you throughout your career?
My life, in everything. Being told as an 18-year-old that you're not good enough, you can go two ways, I reckon. You can get determined, which is what I did, or you can sort of say, this is all too hard and blame everyone else and become a victim and just fall off the wayside. I think I know a lot of people that were very good at sport, but got caught up with the wrong people or were told they're not good enough and they couldn't handle that, so they just fell away.
There's a lot of mystery around the art of spin bowling. Tell us a little bit about the kind of practice you had to do to get as good as you were.
Well, I obviously had a gift, which I could spin the ball. That was from mum and dad. So maybe some physical attributes. I've got pretty big hands, I've got a big wrist, and I'm quite strong. So I think that helped me. But I think the practice I had was, for instance, I'd put a ball down on the cricket pitch and just bowl and bowl and bowl for hours and hours and hours until I could hit it. And then I'd set myself challenges like, okay, I'm going to hit it 3 times today. And I wouldn't leave till I hit it 3 times. If that took hours, it took hours. If I did it in 20 minutes, okay, let's say do it 4 times tomorrow. I'd put a handkerchief down, I'd do those types of things. And whenever I was sitting at home, I'd have a cricket ball in my hand and I'd just spin it in my hand all day. And that was to get a feel of how the ball would come out of your hand with the different deliveries you'd bowl. So I really enjoyed that side of things and pushing yourself to see how good you could be.
We're here at the MCG, lots
Yep.
of good memories of course, but I can't help but think of Boxing Day 2006 when you took your 700th wicket.
Yep.
What sticks most in your memory about that?
That anticipation, the crowd building, the ovation I got when I walked out onto the ground, the delay of the 700th wicket of it not quite happening and then suddenly it happened. The other thing about that was it was so quiet. It was a bit eerie about how quiet it was because I'd stand at the top of a mark and normally you can hear, someone, hey, whatever they were saying. And when you're at the top of the mark, it was suddenly a hush because they thought, is this going to be the ball that's going to take the 700th? And it was an eerie silence of 90,000 people. It was like pretty amazing.
Got him! There it is! Wicket number 700! And they can't catch him. Shane Warne through the gate as Scott Strauss.
But no, the atmosphere, the energy and everything that was here that day was something very special.
I've watched a lot of archive of you preparing for the interview, and one of the things that's massively entertaining is often when you take a wicket, very frequently you see the batsmen turn around and look at the stumps because they can't believe that they are out.
I know, I was lucky enough to bamboozle a few, but there's always great satisfaction when you sort of do something. I remember there was a South Africa 94, Brian McMillan, and if you watch the footage, his head nearly snaps off because he turns around so quick to look at the stumps and goes, how did that happen? That just didn't happen. So I'm like you. I love that expression when they just said, that just didn't happen. He didn't do it to me again, did he? So.
What about Mike Gadding's face? Your first ever Ashes game. He's bowled. He just looks completely stunned. Your first ball of your first Ashes. Ball of the century, as they call it.
Yeah, it was, for a leg spinner, it was the perfect leg break.
First ball in Test cricket in England for Shane Warne. And he's done it. He started off with the most beautiful delivery.
Well, that has turned about 2.5 feet. Gadding can't believe his eyes. What a start for Shane Warne.
That was a fluke. I mean, I never did it again. I never bowled anything like that ever. First ball again to take a wicket.
You say, in the book, you say it's great to create uncertainty, but it's really good if you can create a feeling of chaos.
Yeah.
What sort of things would you do to try to give that feeling of chaos?
Well, when you first come on to bowl, you've got to sort of create something that isn't there, which means that you want the batsman to think that it's spinning. So even if it's day 1 or 2 and there's not much spin there, if you can bowl something slow or something into the bowler's foot marks or something just to create a little bit of doubt. You bowl a ball and it hits the middle of their bat and you go, oh! And he goes, mate, it hit the middle. So he's starting to dislike you straight away because it's like, hang on, hit the middle of my bat. So those sort of things, and then someone around the wicket will say, oh, you got no chance to survive here. And so that chaos is suddenly the batsman's mind's racing at 100 mile an hour. There's all these things going on, and the one thing he has to do is watch my hand. So to try and distract him enough and cause that chaos and create chaos and then a bit of magic is to create that doubt in their head so they're not watching my hand. So, because I was pretty easy to pick. People talk about you had all these different deliveries, but most of the good players could pick exactly what you're doing.
Kevin Pietersen, in his memoir, writes of you that you had to be careful not to let him get to you psychologically because that's what would destroy you. He had an amazing ability to put you under pressure when you weren't actually under any pressure. If I'd hit a beautiful shot, if I'd slog swept him for a 6, he'd still create a scene. He'd be shouting, oh, like he was that close to getting me out, which would make you think, oh, geez, was I almost out there? I'd smashed him to the stands. How did you learn how to get inside people's heads like that?
Practice. I think I love the contest. I was very competitive. I love being in a contest where it's two of us. It's who's going to win.
You're obviously very good at psyching people out. Did it work on you?
I found it made me dig in a lot more, made me even more determined if someone was sledging me. I don't think I ever got annoyed or it affected me when I played because I used to love it. And I always thought I'd be better than them at it. And so even if people were saying things to me, it used to make me concentrate a little bit more.
Did anybody ever give you a sledge that sticks in your brain because it was just so funny or clever?
Darrell Cullen was one that was quite funny because I used to rip into him and I loved it because he had no idea what was going on. And it was about 4 years we played against him. He got dropped. 4 years later, he came back to play again, and I was fielding the slips, and I was saying, "Don't you dare get out, Darrell! Don't you? I've been waiting 4 years for this opportunity to knock you over again." And I kept going for a few overs and didn't let him off. And then in the end, he cracked it. He turned around, he said, "Yeah, it looks like you spent that 4 years eating too." And I said, "That's not bad actually. I looked like I'd swallowed a sheep, so yeah, not bad."
Tell us a bit about Kerry Packer.
He was a wonderful person to me. I think he was a huge character, Kerry Packer. One thing that people, when they talk about Kerry Packer, they probably don't say enough is how charming he was. Even though if he was giving it to you, he was still charming even with it. He also told me, he said, "Son, sell that silver Ferrari. Sell that silver Ferrari. People are going to think you're a big head." And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." So I said, "What should I buy?" He said, "Just buy a nice Australian car. Go and buy a Holden. Go and buy one." So I did. I went and bought a Holden VK Commodore. I sold my silver Ferrari, but I did buy another one too. So when he asked me the question, "Did you sell your Ferrari?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And I bought a Holden, so I didn't lie to him. I just forgot to add that I bought another Ferrari.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about cricket today. How would you describe the health of Australian cricket at the moment?
I think we're struggling. Pretty ordinary at the moment with Australian cricket. I think, in any business, you need the foundation to be strong. And foundation of Australian cricket has always been grassroots cricket, club cricket, and first-class cricket, Sheffield Shield cricket. To me, I think Cricket Australia at the moment are devaluing Shield cricket. I don't think there's enough first-class cricketers getting into school cricket and inspiring people and talking to young boys and girls to say cricket's a great game and this is why, teaching them techniques. So I'd like to see first-class cricketers getting down to schools. I'd like to see them playing club cricket. I'd like to see international players playing domestic Shield cricket and playing because they love it and they want to give something back to the game. I know it's hard, but they've got to do it. They just have to do it for the longevity and successfulness of Test cricket in Australia, and Australian cricket remains strong.
What was your take on the ball tampering incident in South Africa that ended the captaincy of Steve Smith?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us as Australians were disappointed, we were embarrassed. And I think the wider cricket community thought, Australians don't do that. That's not the way Australians play their sport. They play it hard, they play it tough, they're uncompromising, but they're fair, always been fair. And we always have been in all our sports. So it was really disappointing to see that. They have to earn the respect back of the cricketing public and the Australian public and all the cricket community.
Do you think it revealed any sort of issue around the culture of...
Well, maybe. I'm not close enough to know, but I think I will say this about Steve Smith as captain of the side. Steve Smith is a good person. He made a silly mistake and an error in judgment. I think we're, in this country, sometimes too quick to hang people and just nail them. We cry out for characters and things, and but then we cut people off so quickly as well. And Steve Smith, to me, is a good guy. He's a wonderful captain. He's a great player. He just made a silly mistake, and I don't think the punishment fit the crime. 12-month ban for that, equated to about an $8-10 million fine. So, I thought they were very, very hard done by, and it was a very harsh penalty. But having said that, we hated it and we didn't like it, and they have to earn our respect back.